Hi there. We might be witnessing Kenya's banking sector talent war unfold before our eyes. And I'm saying so because why is I&M Bank poaching Kenya's biggest banking sector stars? I'm posing this question because this week I&M Bank Group did poach two banking sector stars in the region. It poached the former CEO of Absa Bank Kenya Limited, Mr. Abdi Mohamed, to become the new CEO of I&M Bank Kenya Limited. And just 2 days after that, I&M Group Limited did poach the immediate former Chief Information Officer of the Equity Bank Group, Mr. Michael Kwofie. These might look like normal movement of staff across the banks within the sector, but the reality is that we might be witnessing the onset of banking sector talent war, and I&M Bank or the I&M Group might just be on the bridge of tremendous expansion in the region, because this poaching is not normal. Reason being, the immediate former CEO of Absa Bank Kenya Limited has over 30 years of experience in the banking sector. That tells you they are poised to bring tremendous leadership and operational experience to I&M Group, and of course, while they'll be leading I&M Bank Kenya Limited. And then the immediate former Group Chief Information Officer of the Equity Group Limited, Mr. Michael Kwofie, has overseen some of Equity Bank's recent technological advancements and expansions in the region, because recently witnessed Equity Bank expand to other neighboring countries. Of course, the most recent one was the expansion into the Democratic Republic of Congo, tapping into that market of over 90 million people. With that said, what do you think is happening? Comment down below in the comment section. Let's discuss there. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think this poaching of these top banking executives is normal? Or do you think I&M Bank is poised to expand rapidly? You are all much welcome to my channel. My name is Afagza Sifunam. In case you are new here, kindly consider subscribing to this channel, because I'm out here bringing you amazing knowledge and information regarding our beautiful country, Kenya, and also regarding matters money. Having said that, let's look at I&M Bank strategically. When you hear I&M Bank, of course, if you are in Kenya in major towns, you most likely have seen a branch of this bank. But the truth is that in Kenya's Tier 1 banks, I&M is not the very topmost. And I'm saying so because even just looking at the asset base of the different banks and their revenues, I&M Bank doesn't even list in top 4 or top 5. And I'm saying so because banks like, for example, KCB Bank, Equity Bank, have asset base almost 2 trillion Kenya shillings. Okay? Banks like Co-operative Bank have asset base upwards of 800 billion Kenya shillings. Banks like I&M have much lower asset base. Basically put, I&M's asset base is roughly 20% of those top banks' asset base. And that also goes for the revenues. But then again, why are they going after these top executives to pull them to their bank? Because I&M, just like these other banks, like for example, Equity, for example, KCB, has headquarters in Kenya, yes, but it hasn't really expanded rapidly compared to those top banks, like for example, KCB, for example, Equity Bank. And I strongly think I&M is poised to expand rapidly in the region. So we're bound to see, for example, I&M expanding rapidly in the neighboring countries. And that is clearly indicated by the deliberate hiring they've done just this week. Don't be surprised in case you see other big poachings happening in the coming few days by the same bank or even other banks out there which are looking to tap into tested executives to be able to realize their expansion goals. So let's look at, for example, the CEO who I&M Bank poached, Mr. Abdi Mohamed. who they did poach from Absa Bank Kenya Limited. Mr. Abdi Mohamed is not just an experienced CEO. We are talking about a CEO who has had over 3 decades, over 30 years of experience in the banking sector. That is not a typical experience for just an experienced CEO. We are talking about a CEO who has deep understanding of banking sector operations, who has deep relationships with regulators, who has already proven they can handle billions of shillings in balance sheet. That is the ideal mix of leadership and hands-on experience which any company, in this case a bank on the bridge of rapid expansion, will be looking at, because they need someone who has already handled big money. They need someone with deep understanding of operations and leadership. And most importantly, they need a person with already existing relationship with regulators, whether it is the central banks in the region, whether it is other banking sector regulators. They need someone who already has existing relationships, because that mix of experience and those relationships will go a long way to ensure their expansion is going to be much, much seamless. So, just because of that, I won't be surprised if I&M Bank rapidly increases their branches in Kenya and also expand their presence in other regional countries, because they are galvanizing their team of experienced executives who are more of plug and play and very strategic when it comes to having already led teams in the banking sector, having existing relationships, and knowing exactly what they're supposed to do. And then the poaching of Mr. Michael Kwofie from being the Group Chief Information Officer of Equity Group Limited to become the Group Chief Information Officer of I&M Bank. That is actually more telling even compared to the CEO's poaching. And I'm saying so because that by itself is a very big statement. In that, we all know Equity Bank has been at the frontier of technology, has been at the frontier of financial inclusion in the region for a few years. That is why Equity Bank has been the most profitable bank in the region and also the bank with the biggest asset base in the region. You know, when we see a chief information officer of a group, which is the biggest in East and Central Africa, being poached, that tells you the bank which is poaching them is looking to tap into their technology expertise. We are not talking about someone who's going to sit in the office and ensure computers are working. No, we are talking about a seasoned executive who's bringing massive experience around cybersecurity, who's bringing massive experience around payments and payments integration, who is bringing massive technology or experience around cloud infrastructure, who is bringing massive experience around embracing recent disruptive technologies like, for example, artificial intelligence into their new company. That is exactly what the I&M Bank Group is going for. Basically, pulling a seasoned C-suite executive from Equity Bank Group Limited to bring to their group. That is a very big statement. And that's why I think we are going to see very massive technological rollout as I&M expands, both within Kenya and also in the region. What do you think about I&M Bank poaching some of the biggest banking stars in the country and the region? Comment down below. Do you think I&M Bank is set to become one of the biggest banks in Kenya? Of course, we're not taking away from the I&M Bank. It is a Tier 1 bank. It is doing very well. It's just that it isn't as big as banks like, for example, Co-operative Bank, KCB Bank, Equity Bank. Are we poised to see I&M Bank increase its asset base, increase its revenue to hit those revenues of top 3 banks in Kenya? What do you think about this poaching? Do you think we're bound to see more and more of such happening? Comment down below, guys. Let's continue engaging.